Welcome back, or welcome to Coach's Corner this morning as we get ready to go here. Trying to keep Coach Amos McKenzie out of my field of vision. And oh no, you can go have your dinner or your breakfast. Excuse me. I'm gonna do my sports first, and then we'll talk.
All right.
It is the first Saturday in March, and of course the madness has begun. Playoffs in full swing, and everything else. And well, what can you say? Some people might say it's the best time of the year. I'll beg to differ. It's the second best time of the year. The best time of the year is October, but we'll talk about that later on. As I mentioned, lots of stuff going on, and let's start with Alex Bellinger of the Bronco Boys swimming and diving team. Yesterday, he competed in the 100 butterfly at the state meet. He ended up taking 23rd place and in a time of 57.14, and what a career for Alex Bellinger. Congratulations to him on such a stellar career as he swam down at the University of Minnesota yesterday. The state wrestling meet is going on as well, and of course, there's no official Bronco wrestlers down there, but remember, they were paired up with Nashua, Keewatin, Greenway for the season. They do have 3 wrestlers that are wrestling at the individual meet yesterday and today, Cole Platt at the 160 pounds. He went 2-1. He's in the wrestlebacks, got a chance to get up to 3rd place. Matt Jeska at 170 pounds. He's 1-1 and also in the wrestlebacks. And Bryce Smith went 1-0 yesterday. Big news across the river last night. The Fort Francis Muskie girls hockey team, they sweep Dryden last night in the best of 3-game series. They win that series 2-0 with a 5-1 win over Dryden on the road last night. A game you could have heard on KGHS 12:30 a.m. and online at rjbroadcasting.com. The Muskies actually trailed 1-0 in that hockey game, but scored 5 unanswered goals for the win. And now in a couple of weekends, I think it's 3 weekends. I forgot to look officially at the dates. They're probably about 2.5 weeks. They're going to be heading for Timmins, Ontario. I did look to see how far Timmins is away. 12 hours according to Google Maps, by the way. They will be heading out there for the All Ontarios, and hopefully we'll have them on Coach's Corner one of the next 2 weekends so we can chat about the trip to Timmins. The Rainy River men's basketball team got play started in the Region 13 tournament down in the Twin Cities yesterday. They went in as the number 1 seed out of the North. They took on number 4 seeded Minnesota West out of the Southern Division, and it was a close game throughout. It was a back and forth game. There were just some crucial mistakes in that basketball game. Free throws, one of them. Some crucial turnovers right before the end of the half. Long story short, they end up losing 84-79. They end their season with a very, very good 20-7 record, but it's going to leave a little sour taste in their mouth that they didn't get a chance to play for the region championship. Bantam Beaton North Region Tournament going on at Bronco Arena this entire weekend. There were 4 games yesterday. Quarterfinal matchups, of course. Moorhead Black 5-3 over Virginia. Crookston 9-1 over Eveleth Gilbert Mesabi East. Grand Rapids loses to Brainerd 6-1 last night, and Morris Benson downs Bagley 7-2. So already underway this morning at 8 o'clock. Virginia versus Eveleth Gilbert Mesabi East. How's that for craziness? They get to probably played each other 5 times during the regular season, and now they get to play in the region tournament up here in International Falls. That game started at 8, should probably be over in the next 20 minutes or so. Then at 10 o'clock, you're going to get a winner's bracket game between Brainerd and Morris Benson. At noon, Moorhead Black versus Crookston. And then at 2 o'clock, a game that I'm going to be doing on the radio for Bagley. Bagley takes on Grand Rapids at 2 o'clock. The tournament continues all day today, and it has games tomorrow as well. Admission, if I remember correctly, is free, so go on out. There was a big crowd there last night. I was really impressed with the number of people that were there last night, so get out and enjoy some pretty good Bantam B hockey from what I was watching last night. Last 2 section finals in boys hockey were settled last night. Hill Murray beats White Bear Lake 3-1 in AA, and in single A, Matamidi 6-3 over Simley. The state hockey tournament gets started on Wednesday in the single A, of course. And I got to get my right piece of paper here. Here are the 8 teams. I'm sure the bracket will be coming out sometime today, and you can watch for it. Hermantown, Matamidi, Thief River Falls, Mankato East, Mankato Loyola, Litchfield, Dassel, Cokato, that's 1 team. Monticello, Orono, and Alexandria are the 8 teams in single A. The 8 teams in double A, some very familiar names: Edina, Minnetonka, Duluth East, St. Thomas Academy, Lakeville North, Centennial, Hill Murray. Maybe the surprise, St. Michael Albertville, who's been improving over the years. They are the 8th team. They're out of Section 8 AA in the boys state hockey tournament again, which gets started on Wednesday. Last night in boys basketball around the area, Duluth East 75-60 over Cambridge Isanti. McDonald's son against McDonald dad winning. The son gets the better of that game. I wonder how that's going to go over. Two Harbor 75, Barnum 44. Where did that score come from? Northwoods continues to roll 87-44 over Deer River. Duluth Denfeld 58, Grand Rapids 45. What has happened to the Thunderhawks towards the end of this season? I know they've had to battle some injuries, but seem to be collapsing. Hermantown 64, Hibbing 63. How good is that basketball game in 7-3A? Lakeview Christian 61, McGregor 52, Mesabi East 79-37 over Cherry. Moose Lake Willow River 66-30 over Rush City. In a big game, Esco 55, Virginia 44 in Section 7-2A. That could maybe have some section final preview kind of right there. Ely 86, Northeast Range 39. Cromwell 46-40 over Nashua Keewatin. Big Fork 68, MIB 58, and Aiken 66-59. It is quarterfinal Saturday in girls basketball in Section 7A and Section 7-2A. Let's run down those games for you. Carleton versus Floodwood. These games are at Romano Gym, by the way, on the campus at UMD. Carleton versus Floodwood. Ely versus MIB in the afternoon. Boy, would I like to be at this game tonight, and I'd like to pull the trigger, but I don't think I can get there. Cherry versus Big Fork at 5:45. Cook County versus Cromwell. That Cherry Big Fork game is going to be a dandy, I think. In 2A, these games at Duluth Denfeld today. Crosby Arrington versus Pequot Lakes at 1 o'clock. Virginia versus Proctor. Remember, Virginia eliminated the Broncos on Thursday night. They get number 1 seeded Proctor. That should be a dandy at 2:30. Mesabi East against Duluth Marshall. Speaking of nice games, that ought to be a good one at 5:45. And then in the nightcap, Esco versus Aiken. In 7-3A girls basketball, number 1 seed Grand Rapids. They host Hibbing at 2 o'clock. You want to listen to that game? I'll bet you my left foot that Sheldon Slaybaugh is there ready to call that game at 2 o'clock. Hermantown versus Chisago Lakes in the other game. College hockey, the Big Ten tournament got started with a best-of-3 series quarterfinals last night. Ohio State 6-2 over Michigan State. The Gophers lose to Penn State 5-3, and Michigan beats Wisconsin 6-5. In the NCHC, these are still regular season games. So St. Cloud State 4-3 over UND in overtime. Omaha 4-1 over UMD. Colorado College 2, Western Michigan 1 in Denver. This continues to play great hockey, 6-4 over Miami. WCHA got their quarterfinal started last night. Michigan Tech beats Bemidji State in Bemidji last night 5-3. Mankato 8-2 over Alaska. And maybe I should pull the trigger and go to Bemidji tonight. Maybe that would be a shorter trip and go down and watch some WCHA hockey. That might be a lot of fun as well. Women's hockey, the WCHA Final Four is this afternoon at Ritter Arena in the cities. Bemidji State takes on number 1 Wisconsin at 2 o'clock. Minnesota versus Ohio State at 5. Wild, what can we say? It was an absolute disgusting game last night against the Avalanche. I don't know if you watched it or not. 7-1 Colorado over the Wild last night. Back-to-back losses on the road. Just have not played well in these games. Maybe they need a little break here. Mike Bolstead, if you're listening. Mikko Koivu got the only goal for the Wild. Timberwolves last night, it got chippy. Carl Anthony Towns got thrown out of the game. Jeff Teague got thrown out of the game. If you want to watch something fun, go on to Twitter or go on to Google or wherever and put in Jeff Teague, Ricky Rubio. Jeff Teague absolutely hip-checked Ricky Rubio in a little, I don't know, you're a former Wolf, I'm going to get the better of you. Got thrown out of the game for that. And the Timberwolves lost as well on back-to-back nights to Portland. Thursday night, they lose 108-101 last night to Utah. Big Ten basketball quarterfinals going on in men's and women's. The Big Ten tournament moved up a week early. The Big Ten commissioner, I mentioned this last Saturday, I screwed up. We should have never moved this tournament. It's just taken the wind out of the sails of this tournament. It hasn't taken away from the great games that have gone on. Michigan State, number 1 seed, got number 9 Wisconsin in a dandy 63-60. Michigan 77, Nebraska 58. Penn State upsets number 2 seeded Ohio State 69-68. And Purdue hands full with number 14 Rutgers. When the Gophers got the number 11 seed and lost to 14 Rutgers the other night, everybody's like, oh, what's wrong with the Gophers? Well, then the Rutgers came back and they beat Indiana 2 days ago, and they almost beat Purdue last night. So don't be so hard on the Gophers, and maybe you should be. That's another story. Women's Big Ten tournament also going on. Ohio State beats Rutgers, Minnesota 80-79. Megan Gustafson from northern Wisconsin, she scores 48 points for Iowa in the loss, 80-79 to the Gophers. So the Gophers are in the Big Ten semifinals today at 5 o'clock against number 1 seeded Ohio State. Minnesota Twins got out hit 6-5 yesterday, but they won where it was important. They got a 2-1 edge on the scoreboard. Eddie Rosario hit a home run. Joe Mauer had the other RBI for the Twins. The Twins and the Blue Jays play once again this afternoon at noon. Rainy River women's basketball team today, they're headed off to Thief River Falls to Northland Community College. They will be playing in the Region 13B tournament. They are taking on Hibbing. The Voyagers beat Hibbing by 5 points earlier in the season, just 10 days or so ago. Hibbing came back and beat the Voyagers by 5 points. So how even are these two teams? That game is at 4 o'clock, and if you go to thecube.com, you can watch that game. Or you can go to the Northland Community College website. There's a link on there if you want to watch that game this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Of course, the Bantam Beat tournament continues at Bronco Arena, I mentioned today. Lakers, they're at home against English River. This is a playoff preview. It's already set. These two teams will be playing in the 5-game first round of the playoffs in the SIJHL. So head on over to Ice for Kids Arena tonight. That game gets started at 7:30. Twin spring training game tomorrow on K104. Game starts at noon as they take on Pittsburgh. And if you're a curling fan, get over to Fort Francis on Sunday and Monday. The NWASA curling tournament for the boys and girls in high school curling are going on. The first matches start at 3:45 tomorrow. They could have another round of matches starting about 7:30, and then there's matches starting at 8:30 on Monday and going all day. So you can go over and watch curling and some good competitive curling over there. What's happening with our former Broncos? I said I was going to get done early here. Boy, I found a lot to talk about, Amos. Lexi Edwards, how about this? Pair of 3-1 wins last week in the Northeast Women's Hockey League Championship game, and she actually scored, Lexi Edwards did, in that championship game. Sacred Heart is number 10 in the pairwise. They need to get to number 8, and I don't know if that's going to happen here, but the NCAA tournament for the women's hockey gets started next week. Brianna Schaffner last Saturday at the UMAC Indoor Championships, she took 4th in the 200, 4th in the 400. Savannah Olsen took 10th in the shot put at the NSIC Championships held in Mankato last week. Wyatt Helgeson, former Bronco pole vaulter, he's the UMAC champion. How's that? He goes 13 feet, 3.5 inches to win the championship there. Wyatt Ulrich, he gets his season started for St. John's baseball team. Remember last year he was only batted like .493 for the season, and they'll be hard pressed to get him out of the lineup. They have 6 games St. John's does in Florida this week as they get their baseball season started. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Bronco boys basketball with head coach Amos McKenzie. You're listening to Coach's Corner live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner, joined by head coach of the Bronco boys basketball team, Amos McKenzie. Well, Coach, you survived the first regular season. How did it go?
Yeah, it definitely had its ups and downs, you know. I mean, I think my hair got a little grayer, and I didn't think it was possible, but...
Well, yeah, those kinds of things happen. Hey, you're working with kids. There's going to be great days. There's going to be tough days. You knew that going in. I don't think it surprised you any, but... You had sounded like a great game last Friday night. I wasn't able to be there, but a 77-75 win. Let's talk a little bit about that game. It was tight throughout, though, from the posts that I was getting.
Yeah, it was definitely a thriller. You know, I'd have to say it's probably our most complete game that we've put together. Defensively, I still wish we played a little bit better.
You know, a lot of people have said that to me. Best game that they've seen the Broncos play all year. Why? What? Be very precise for me, because nobody could give me an answer on, well, what is it? I said, well, what did they do so well? They just did everything so well.
They shared the ball.
Okay.
They got back in transition defensively. We still got to work on that part of our game a little bit, but the way they ran their fast break was really nice that they did, and they were patient on offense. They took smart shots, and you know, that to me is how they played their most complete game this year. Executed where they had to. They fought through adversity well, and there was chances there where we were down where they could have let go and give up, but they didn't. They fought back and took that lead.
That is very encouraging. You know, this team is, and again, I haven't got to watch you much in February. I've been busy with hockey and everything else. But one thing that I seem to have noticed by looking at the score sheets, one time it's Armando Barrios. that's leading the scoring. The next time it's Max Olson, then it's Taylor Wilson, and then it's Tanner Budrus that's scoring a bunch of points. It seems like when this team decides that they're all going to do it, they could be very, very tough.
And that was the nice thing about Deer River. We had 3 guys in double digits. Not one guy. Armando's he's had an excellent season. We get him down on the block, and he's a tough kid to stop down there. But that game, we did move the ball. We shared the ball. Tanner controlled the offense very nicely. I have nothing but good praise to say about him too. We're going to definitely miss him when he moves on. And just he's been controlling that offense very nicely.
It's nice to have somebody out there that can maybe dictate the tempo, know when to go, when not to go. It's tough to find somebody, but he's been around and he has a very good sense of the game.
Oh, for sure. And I've always told him, if you don't hear my call, because I like to call the plays, if you don't hear my call, it's your floor. You go ahead and call it. And he's very confident and does that.
Talk a little bit about maybe some kid who's maybe stepped up here through this season that maybe at the start of the season you were kind of going, yeah, he could be maybe that 7th, 8th, 9th player, but now you're kind of going, I got to have him on the floor. I got to get him in that lineup. Is there a kid on the team like that?
Yeah, Mason Bowler. Yeah. He's definitely opened my eyes here as the season come along. He approached me and asked me what he would need to do to see the floor more, and I told him. And he went ahead and did that and beyond. So he's really gone above and beyond, and he's seen the floor more, and his defense. He's very, very smart on defense. He's one of our top defenders.
It's always interesting because I've been a coach and that kind of thing. You have kids who come and talk to you, ask you those things. What can I do to get better? And then when you tell them that, they kind of look at you like, well, I'm not already doing that. You don't think that I'm doing that. But it's refreshing to hear a kid being told, this is what you need to do, and then they go do it. That makes it very, very rewarding.
Oh, for sure. Yep, he's gone above and beyond. Like I said, he took care of what we've talked about and plus some. So,
guys, you're going to be the number 5 seed. I'm almost 1,000% sure of that. You're going to play number 4 Mesabi East coming up here on Tuesday on the road. This is a team that you guys. Do you match up with them well? Because a lot of teams have had trouble with Mesabi East. They struggle against them. And Mesabi East, a team that you lost to on your home floor, you beat them on the road. How exciting is this game going to be on Tuesday?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. They are a tough matchup with that size they have down low. And they run a 2-3 zone. It's a very tough 2-3 with that size. They got a really quick guard, number 10. I don't know his name.
Betchika.
Yep. He
or Hanuxla, which one? No, it's the girls is Hanuxla. It's Betchika.
Yeah, he's tough to slow down. They are minus Carson. He's out with a broken hand, but this freshman, this Betchika here, he's stepped up and really controlled them. They will be a tough matchup. So
he is not going to be back. This Carson will not be back in the lineup for this game on Tuesday?
Well, I'm not sure. I had Greenway send me film, and he wasn't playing in that. I almost drove down there for that one, but we had late practice, so I got on the horn right away with Greenway, and he sent me the film, and he was still on the bench. That doesn't mean he won't be back for playoffs. I guess we're prepping for him being there.
Yeah, that would make a big difference in the basketball game. You've had 10 days off, or you're going to have 10 or 11 days off. Talk about the struggles of that going into a playoff game with that much time off.
It's definitely hard. You're this late in the season, and then you've pretty much got what you got in. In fact, we had a really good practice here the other day for about 45 minutes, and then the kids turned into kids. and so I cut it short. But, it wasn't to their fault. It's just, like you said, all this time off in between. It's tough to keep them focused for the whole time.
Is it something where you try to change things up and I guess, in my mind, thinking, do you shorten practices up, maybe only go an hour and 15 minutes, but try to go harder and maybe scrimmage a little bit more so that they get a little of that battle out of them?
Yeah, and we did that. Actually, I had a practice, I want to say it was Wednesday. I was getting ready to cut it short, and we had a really good practice. The guys looked at the clock and said, Coach, we still got 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, you want to keep going? We'll keep going.
These are kids that like to be at basketball practice, I believe. Just from watching them around town during the summer, they always seem to be out shooting hoops and doing those kinds of things. What's the biggest thing? You talked about Mesabi East Side. What's the biggest thing something that you're going to have to take care of on Tuesday night to advance on to Saturday afternoon down at UMD?
You've probably heard me say it a few times throughout here, but I've looked at the books, and it's our defense on the backside with those posts. They do look to feed. I think he's 6'6", 6'5", around there, and they look to feed. And he's not strong, but he knows what to do around the hoop with the ball. And watching film the last few times, we didn't bring the backside help as much as we should have.
So that's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And you still got to win the last time. Of course, Wilson hit the three-pointer at the buzzer down at Mesabi East back in mid-January. Talk a little bit about just what you see in Section 7 2A, because the tournament starts on Tuesday, but of course gets into full swing. Who do you kind of see out there as maybe the favorite or favorites going into this tournament?
The game last night, you mentioned it. I wish that game would have been in Virginia, because I would have absolutely loved to seen that game. Those two teams right there are the top two.
Esco and Virginia, if you weren't with us during the first segment, that's what we're talking about. Those are going to be two of the top teams.
And two other teams, Proctor has a good squad. They do. I know that shows 9 losses, but they're very sound and they're very difficult to guard.
And they've got a coach who seems to find a way to win playoff games. There's something about, why can I not think of his name right now? Escaping me.
It's on the top of my head, too.
Jeez. He used to be at Duluth Marshall. Yeah. Sorry, I can't think of it right now. But he's a very good X's and O's. He can make things happen over there. Anybody else that kind of sticks out in your mind?
I really like what Greenway's been putting together. They've relied on DeChambeau a lot, but I've traded film with this guy all season long. And at the beginning of the season, everything went through him. But now, the way he's got that team playing, and I'll praise this guy because he's done really good. It doesn't just go through the one guy. Now he's got him playing as a unit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Greenway, hasn't been the basketball power for a while. I can remember them going to the state tournament in 1985 and going there. I remember watching them down there. I would say since then they've had many poor seasons, and to see that program get turned around and going in the right direction. I know a lot of people don't want me to say anything about positive about Greenway, but you feel for a team that has had to struggle living in a hockey community and struggling through those things. So when the basketball teams do well in those kinds of towns, me being a former basketball player, I have a tendency to give them their kudos. Coach, thanks for coming in this morning. I'll talk to you on Tuesday, and let's try to make a run.
Let's do it.
Amos McKenzie joining me here. We'll take a break. We'll come back with an interview I did with the head coach of the Rainy River Community College Voyagers men's basketball team, Bill Engel. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, joined by head coach of the Rainy River Community College Voyagers men's basketball team, Bill Engel. Coach, first of all, congratulations on a great season. You got to be very proud.
We are very proud of our kids. I think that our kids have come a long ways and done a lot of good things, and really happy with them and where we are, and now it's all about moving forward.
Northern Division title, it's something that you can hang on the banner, so to speak, and put out there. It kind of a testament to, just your third year with the program, how well things have gone for you here.
Definitely. We'll certainly be a testament to a lot of good kids coming through here and working hard and buying into the things that they're being asked to do, and certainly we want to continue down that road. Been a lot of good teams in this league, and as we move forward, we want to be one of those teams that's at the top every year.
It seems interesting to me, and this may sound like a negative, but you couldn't get past Vermilion, yet you win the division title. Just talk a little bit about how competitive the Northern Division was this year.
Yeah, absolutely. The Northern Division is really good year in and year out. No doubt Vermilion's been good. Northland's been good. Central Lakes traditionally has been good, and Mesabi and those other schools are very, very competitive as well. And we weren't very good a couple of years ago, and last year we felt like we were making progress, and this year we got ourselves up to where we wanted to be, and it's going to be competitive. If you look at the Big Ten or any of those major power conferences, there's typically not a team at the top who's undefeated. If you look at Kansas, they've got 4 losses. Virginia over in the ACC, they've got a loss. So, even to win the division and have a few losses, you've got to be able to persevere. There's going to be ups and downs and negatives and things that you've all got to deal with, and you still got to be able to move forward and come out on top. And, that was our goal, and that's where we're at. So, right now we're very happy.
You've got I would say a young team, just 2 sophomores on this team. The rest of these guys are freshmen. freshman, that has to make you very excited about next year's prospects, I would suspect.
Oh, absolutely. We like the kids that we have and the kids coming back. Now we do have the 2 sophomores that have been here for 2 years, but we have a couple other sophomores who were transfers in, Isaiah Sims and Eddie Mercedes, so we'll lose those guys as well. Mike Clark will be moving on as well. He's a freshman eligibility-wise, but he's a sophomore academically, so he's going to be moving on with his academic career. So we'll have 5 spots there to fill, but again, we'd like to bring all of these guys back. That year of experience is huge, and so we'd like to bring in a handful of guys that are ready to go, maybe 1 or 2 transfers, and you'll be ready to compete again.
Going as the number 1 seed from the north and into the region tournament coming up that's starting on Friday. As we listen to this, you'll already have 1 game underneath your belt. But talk about, is there added pressure going in as the number 1 seed from the north?
No, we don't think so. We feel like we're an underdog everywhere we go, just because we're the smallest school out there, and everybody thinks that they're going to hang one on us. So we're just very focused on what we're going to do, and very hopefully our guys will be very, very poised as we go into this game, and we'll again look at ourselves as the underdog playing Minnesota West, and they've got some very, very good players, so it's going to be very competitive, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's the Minnesota West on Friday, and then of course that game is at 1 o'clock on Friday. So like I said, as we listen to this, it'll already be past due. Talk about what's coming up, also possibly on your bracket that you could see Saturday and Sunday.
I guess, we really don't know too much past that first game, but obviously I think Rochester's in our bracket, so they're going to be very, very competitive, as they are year in and year out. But, right now we're just, really focused on Minnesota West. They've got a sniper, Alex Preston, who really, really shoots the ball well, and they've got another kid who leads them in scoring, Alex Brown, and they've got this real, real long kid who plays a wing, can handle it, can shoot it, can get to the basket. So we know we're going to have our hands full, and we just need to be dialed into each other, have our effort and attitude right. And, we feel like when we do that with our effort and attitude, and our guys are all bought in, that, we can be really tough to deal with.
I've been looking at the scores over the week. Over the last couple of weeks, I really haven't got to watch you guys because of my schedule. But there's been a lot of triple figures going up on the scoreboard on your guys' side. Is that due more to the defense, or is it you guys just been maybe shooting it that well lately?
I actually think a lot of it is just due to the effort on defense. Being able to come up with some defensive rebounds, some tips, some takeaways, some things like that would lead to some runouts. And then on top of that, we felt like we've shot it decently. I don't know that we've really knocked the bottom out of it, but we're making the extra pass on most cases, and it's getting people open looks, which we just need to continue to do.
Any reason why you shouldn't win the championship this weekend?
Well, that's certainly a loaded question.
It is. It is.
But our expectation is to go down there and to win 3 games and get ourselves to New York. So that's our goal. That's what we're going to stick with. And right now we're just going to focus on Minnesota West.
Coach, good luck this weekend.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, joined by Tequila the Great and Valon Mobley of the Rainy River women's basketball team. And as we listen to this interview, they'll be on their way out to western Minnesota to take part in the Region 13B tournament. And how exciting, Valon, is it to get this team and take them out west, out to Thief River, and play in the region tournament?
Feels amazing. First time in I don't know how long, so it feels good.
You've been with this team for 2 years. We've talked about you kind of being the leader, the can I call her the mother of the team? Is that fair? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does it feel kind of like a big accomplishment for this team to accomplish as much as they have and still yet to possibly go on this season?
Yes.
This team, and this might be sound a little negative. You guys had a chance to host the tournament on this weekend. If you guys could have come up with that final win against Hibbing at home here about a week and a half ago, has that kind of maybe driven you guys a little bit here, Tequila, coming up over the past week and a half? You guys have had a chance to practice. Has kind of made it like, we let that go and we need to work a little harder to make things right?
Yeah, it kind of humbled us, but then driven us at the same time, because we know we can never underestimate a team, but we know that we can play hard at the end of the day.
What we call that is a setback for a great comeback.
She's always got one of those sayings for those kinds of things. You guys get to play Hibbing again here in the number 2 versus number 3 seed game coming up Saturday afternoon here at about 4 o'clock. You got to see them play them twice. What about Hibbing makes them a good team, Valon?
Hibbing they just like to fight. They're gonna continue to fight. They're fighters, and that's what I like about Hibbing.
What about you, Tequila? What do you see in them?
Same. They run the floor, they fight, and they push the whole game, and they're not going to let up, so we're not going to let up.
I think I was talking with Coach Humbert here 10, 12 days ago, and we were talking about the fact that you guys beat Hibbing by 5, they beat you by 5. You guys beat the Thief River by 6, they beat you by 4. I mean, it's just that close between those 3 teams, and then you add Central Lakes in there as well, as Northland will be taking on Central Lakes at 2 o'clock. It leaves a lot to be out there that anything can happen this weekend. Is it make it more stressful or more exciting, Tequila, to have that kind of weekend coming up?
Exciting. I'm excited. I try not to be nervous because I'm trying to.
It's making you nervous right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of hot.
What is the key to the game against Hibbing for you guys, for Rainey, to maybe get things started and going in the right direction, Valan?
To play our game.
Yeah.
Don't play nobody else's game but our game.
And it seems to me I've seen some slower starts in the first quarter. What maybe is causing that? What's the remedy to those slow starts? Tequila, you want to take a stab at that one?
When it comes to warming up, we gotta come out with that will to know, like, you have to have that in us, like, and doing warm ups. Like, you see it doing warm up, you're gonna see it in the game. If you don't see it doing warm up, you're not gonna see it in the game. So we just have to know whatever we do in warm up has to be transferred into the game.
You guys love that up tempo. I think put the pressure on, get up in their face. How important it is it with that type of game to really get in the psyche of the other team, get in their mind mentally that you guys we're going to be in your guys' face all day. Is it kind of one of those things that you need to do, or is that something that you guys can turn on later on in the game, maybe in the second quarter or in the second half?
It starts at tip off.
It
starts at tip off.
Starts at tip off.
Does that, because you guys only got 7, right? The Super 7, isn't that what we were calling the team on our last time we were on Coach's Corner? Wasn't that what we were calling the Super 7? I remembered right.
The Lucky 7, Super 7.
The Super 7, Lucky 7. So with only 7 players, how long can that pace, that in your face, in your grill, because can you do it for 40 minutes, Tequila, or is it something where it's got to come in spurts, a couple minutes at a time here, and then maybe take a few minutes off and then right back at it again?
This weekend we're going to try to push the gas pedal, make it like 40 minutes. Because we usually let up, but it's not the time to let up.
We have had players who play 40 minutes, game after game after game. So Hibbing is no different.
How exciting would it be to win the Region 13B tournament and head to the national tournament? What would that mean for you guys? I'll let you go first, Valan.
Putting Rainey on the map for one, and we bringing banner after banner, so it feels good to me.
Tequila, how about for you?
Same, banner after banner. Then luckily they can expand the school a little bit, make our gym a little bigger. So when we do this again, we're hosting.
There you go. Ladies, best of luck this weekend. Go get them.
All right, thank you.
Valan Mobley and Tequila DeGreat joining me. We'll take another break here, and we'll come back with more Coach's Corner. You're listening on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Back at Hardee's for our final segment of Coach's Corner, and while we've been listening to the past 2 interviews during that time, the brackets for the State High School Boys Hockey Tournament have come out, and let's start with AA. Number 1 seed is going to be Minnetonka, and they will be taking on Hill Murray, who is unseeded. Number 2 is Edina. They'll take on unseeded Lakeville North. Number 3 will be Duluth East. They get St. Michael Albertville. And then number 4, St. Thomas Academy. They get number 5, Centennial. So, again, Duluth East gets the number 3 seed in the AA tournament. Number 1 goes to Minnetonka. In the Class A boys, which gets started on Wednesday, no surprise, Hermantown is the number 1 seed. They will take on Monticello. Number 2 is Matamidi. No surprise, they take on Mankato East Loyola. Number 3 is Orono. They get Litchfield Dassel Cokato. And number 4 is Alexandria. They get number 5 seeded Thief River Falls. So those games go off again on Wednesday starting at 11 a.m. And I'm sure you can see those games on Channel 10 coming up during the week as we go along. Let's talk about the week that was. It was not a long week, but last Saturday, Alex Bellinger ended up qualifying for the state meet in the 100 butterfly. The Broncos took 8th place as a team. Noah Mathis ended up placing 6th at the Section 7-2A wrestling meet at 195 pounds. And the Rainy River men's basketball team last Saturday, they wrapped up a Northern Division title as they beat Fond du Lac 97-82. Anthony Mara led the Voyagers last Saturday with 24 points. On Monday, the Little Fork Big Falls girls basketball team got their Section 7A playoff started with a 50-19 win over Northeast Range. Danielle Pekarski, she led the way with 17 points. On Tuesday, the Viking boys basketball team got beat by Black Duck 102-52. The Fort Francis Lakers on Tuesday lost in Thunder Bay by a score of 3-0 on 3 third-period goals from the North Stars. On Wednesday, the Viking girls basketball team had their season come to an end at the hands of the Big Fork Huskies as they lost 72-31. The Fort Francis girls hockey team opened the Norwassa finals on Wednesday with a 4-1 win over Dryden. The Muskies scored 3 times in about the first 4 minutes of that game to kind of take control of it. Jill Calder netted a pair of goals in that hockey game. On Thursday, the Bronco girls basketball season came to an end at the hands of the Virginia Blue Devils by a final score of 48-45. The Broncos did lead by 8 points about midway through the second half, and they led 45-44 with a minute to go, but they couldn't hang on. Janet Humbert led the way with 14. Libby Miggins had 13, and Emma Gilbert 10. The Viking boys basketball team ended their regular season at home with a loss to Chisholm by a final score of 88-38. And the Muskie boys on Thursday, they opened their Norwassa final. That's again a best-of-3 series. They trailed 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3. They end up forcing overtime, but it was the Cortez Favat show. Man, I'm telling you, people, if this series comes back to Fort Francis on Tuesday night and you want to go see a kid handle the puck, I've never seen a kid handle the puck as well as he did on Thursday night. He was absolutely outstanding, and he got the game winner in overtime. He scored 4 times. Not only can he handle the puck, but obviously he can put it in the back of the net. So Sioux Lookout defeats Fort Francis 5-4 in that game. Caleb Brewer did have a hat trick for the Muskies. Game 2 is tomorrow night at 7:30 in Sioux Lookout, and the Muskies, the 13-time defending Norwassa champions, they're going to be looking to get things back on track and see if they can bring that series home for a deciding game on Tuesday night. Yesterday, Alex Bellinger placed 23rd in the 100 butterfly at the state meet. The Fort Francis girls hockey team, they wrapped up their 3-game best-of-3 series with Dryden with a 5-1 win on the road. They're headed for the All-Ontarios. The Rainy River men's basketball team lost yesterday 84-79 in the quarterfinals of the Region 13 tournament. They end the season with a 20-7 record. Don't forget the Bantam Beat tournament is going on all day at Bronco Arena. Get out there. Game 1 already in the books. A winner's bracket game between Brainerd and Morris Benson get started here in about 10 minutes at Bronco Arena. The Fort Francis Lakers will be at home tonight as their regular season starts winding down. They've got about 5 regular season games left. They are hosting English River at 7:30 tonight at Ice for Kids Arena. Fort Francis girls and boys curling teams are taking part in the NWASA tournament that starts in Fort Francis tomorrow afternoon at 3:45. Curling goes all afternoon and into the evening tomorrow night, and then on Monday all day as well, as they will crown their champions there. The Fort Francis boys hockey team, as I mentioned, has game 2 tomorrow night in Sioux Lookout. The Little Fork Big Falls Viking boys basketball team will open playoffs on Monday. They will be in Cherry. I will be there to bring you that game. Pre-game to start right around 6:45. Tip at 7 o'clock from Cherry. The Tuesday, the Bronco boys will be down in Mesabi East. I'll be back down there on Tuesday to bring you that game. Again, same story. Pre-game to start right around 6:40. Opening tip at 7 o'clock. The Fort Francis boys hockey team could have game 3 on Tuesday at home. The Rainy River softball team, they get their season started down in Florida. They've got 3 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday, and 2 games on Thursday. So they'll get their season started with 7 quick games. So I believe that they leave for Florida tomorrow night, and they'll be back on Friday. The Fort Francis Lakers, speaking of Friday, will be in Dryden, and then next Saturday the Lakers are at home against Thief River Falls. That's going to wrap it up for this week's show of Coach's Corner. Thanks to my guest, Amos McKenzie, who was here live, and of course the Villan Mobley and Tequila Great of the women's basketball team, and also head coach Bill Engel, who joined me earlier in the week as we taped those interviews. Thanks to everybody here at Hardee's for taking care of our guest and Dave and his crew, but most of all, thank you. Oh, don't forget about Ryan pushing the buttons back at the station. Thanks, Ryan, and thanks to you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.